Good evening, everyone. The microphones are on, the cameras are rolling. I kindly ask our city clerk to please take the roll call.
Mike Bruno.
Here.
Tara Burkhardt.
Here.
Don Cummings.
Here.
Dean Kilberg. Craig Maladra. Here. Richard Marks.
Here.
Jim Radecki. Here. Mary Sino. Here. Tom Simonian.
Here.
Ron Singer.
Here.
Alderman Kilberg will not be with us this evening. He notified us earlier in the day. We begin tonight's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. And it seems only fair that we have the President of the Chamber of Commerce lead us in the pledge on the eve of Swedish Days.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Gene. Ladies and gentlemen, all of you received an email from me late last week regarding the passing of two extraordinary women from Geneva. First is a longtime teacher at Western Avenue Elementary School, Beth Shannon, who left behind her husband and two kids, Aaron and Brett. She also, of course, left behind hundreds of students that she taught as well. Jerry Nelson passed away on the 16th, just this past Friday. Jerry was married to Byron Nelson for almost 75 years. Lived in Geneva. Her daughter went to Geneva High School. They had, I gotta get this right so I don't forget anybody. They had their son, Don, Byron Jr., Chuck, Tom, Jack, and daughters Chris and Emily. The flags and the Geneva flags are flying at half-staff to honor them. And sadly, as all of you probably know, we add to that list of mourners the Zott family. Michael Zott, a Geneva graduate, tender age of 23, passed away late last week as well. Michael and I became good friends. I know his loss is felt throughout the community. For those of you who do not know, his services are this Wednesday evening at Malone's Funeral Home from 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So if I could begin the meeting with a moment of silence to honor all three of those lives and to convey to their families that we are indeed sharing in their grief and we are sorry for their loss. Thank you very much. Item 3A this evening is to consider Mayor's appointment of Brian Beveridge to the Strategic Plan Advisory Committee.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Beveridge is with us tonight?
No.
Could not make it. I know he had a dinner engagement.
He was going to try to make it.
Great. But we certainly welcome Brian, and we thank him for volunteering his time and talent to help serve the city. All in favor of the
Mayor,
motion?
just one quick question.
Excuse me.
Is that a replacement, or did someone resign, or is that just finally filling off?
We had a resignation back in November.
Oh, okay.
So it's just
All right. I
taking
didn't
this
know.
long.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Thank you.
And as all of you know, the Strategic Plan Advisory Committee interviews the candidates and then makes their selection and just forwards it to us for ratification, if you will. So, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Great. Item 3B is actually being removed from the agenda this evening. Some additional information was going to be added to the presentation. They needed just a little bit more time. Item 4, amendments to the agenda. Are there any amendments this evening? Oh, Alderman Simonian.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to take 11B off the omnibus agenda.
Item 11B, you beat me to the punch.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's good. On the omnibus agenda, all items save for item B, which is being removed, are considered to be routine by this council. It can be enacted with one motion unless a member of the council and/or a member of the audience has information relative to one of those discussion points. If not, is there a motion to approve the omnibus agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Alderman Bruno makes the motion. Alderman Cummings makes the second. Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Tara Burkhardt. Aye. Don Cummings.
Aye.
Craig Maladra.
Aye.
Richard Marks.
Aye.
Jim Radecki.
Aye.
Mary Sino.
Aye.
Tom Simonian.
Aye.
Ron Singer.
Aye.
Mike Bruno.
Aye.
Item 5 passes with 9 affirmative votes and no nays and 1 absent. Item 10 is municipal bills for payment. We kindly ask our clerk to read the bills in their aggregate for our consideration this evening.
Bills for payment total $3,032,198.33.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve and pay the bills as read. The individual items that add up to that amount can be found in tonight's packet.
Alderman Bruno makes the motion to pay the bills as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Sino. Our thanks to Stephanie Dawkins for providing the information with respect to the questions asked about some of those bills. Anyone else, any questions about those bills? Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Tara Burkhart. Don Cummings.
Aye.
Craig Maladra.
Aye.
Richard Marks.
Aye.
Jim Radecki. Mary Sino. Tom Simonian.
Aye.
Ron Singer.
Aye.
Mike Bruno.
Aye.
Motion passes with 9 affirmative votes, 0 nay votes, and 1 absent. Item 11B is to approve ordinance number 2016-23, amending Title 7, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 3, Stopping, Standing, and Parking Section, 7-3-10, Parking Fines, and Title 8, Public Ways and Property, Chapter 7, Parking Facilities near Railroad Station, Section 5, Permit Parking Zones of the City Code. There's a motion to remove this item from the omnibus from Alderman Simonian, so I'll entertain a motion to so approve so we can get this on the floor. Motion by Maladra.
Second.
Seconded by Cummings. Alderman Simonian, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. I spoke with Mike Simon earlier today, and his concern was what he and a number of the business owners on both State Street and on 3rd Street had come up with, that they thought that was, they felt very comfortable with what they had proposed, and we had made changes to that. So I'm asking the council to reconsider a compromise as follows. In section 1E, under just the overtime parking, everything else is fine, is that we add a second warning. So there'll be 1 and 2 will be warnings, 3 will be $5, and then 4 and 5 will be $10, and then so on, following the current suggestions. I think it's a well worth compromise. We're basically doing is just adding a warning over the course of the year. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Alderman Maladra?
So I've been thinking about this, and I like the second warning idea. But what I get stuck with is the idea that 3 offenses, 4 offenses, 1 is a mistake, 2 is clumsy, 3 starts to be habitual, 4 is more a pattern of behavior than anything else. And so I like the idea of warnings. I like the idea of saying, hey, folks, we have these parking limits, we have these rules for a reason. But I would like to see after 1 warning or 2 warnings, the fines be a little bit more substantial, a little bit more meaningful, so that we can curb the habitual behavior as opposed to the accidental behavior. I appreciate the idea about trying to protect or defend the shopper, but what I get stuck with is I don't know how to identify the shopper. The police officer is probably not going to be at the car with the ticket when the shopper comes out with a receipt. We could have the shopper, mail the ticket in with a receipt, or we could have some sort of appeal process, but any process requires management, which translates into time and money. So I don't know how to differentiate the shopper's car from your car, which is now famous, or the commuter's car, or an employee's car. And then I struggle with the idea that we have a shopper who comes to Geneva 4 times a year and can't read the sign saying, 3-hour parking, 9-hour parking, or whatever. So I'm good with the second warning. Myself, I'd like to see the fines increase pretty soon after that, so that 3rd warning would be 10, and then from the 4th, we jump to the 25 and just stick through it that way. I know that sounds excessively punitive. But when I remove the emotion from the situation and try and figure out a better way, I just can't shake the fact that somebody who does this 4 times is not somebody who's doing it accidentally. They're taking advantage of us. Thanks.
Alderman Radecki?
Well, several things come to mind. First is,
I believe it's on, it's just, yeah.
First is that primarily I think what we're solving is an employee parking problem as much or more so than a shopper's problem. I think that for a long time our ordinances didn't have any teeth in them. I think we're paying somebody good money to go around and to enforce these. I think that what we need to do is just spread the unhappiness as evenly as possible. I think we were way light on the first, what we've been doing for the last 10 or 15 years. I think what was suggested, I'm not in favor of giving a warning then another warning. By definition, one of them's a warning, one's just a free pass. So, you know, this is solving or addressing, I think, an employee parking issue as much as anything else. You know, we can belabor this. You know, I thought that we were agreed. It was interesting that we were 10-0, one of the few times that I thought that we did something and legislated something on a fly. We seem to all be in agreement, and then an email comes out, and you know, then we're gonna, you know, change our mind to, you know, 2 warnings again. So, you know, rule number 1: horse dies, dismount. At this point, I really, you know, whatever the will of the council is the will. I think that 1 warning makes as much sense as anything, and to just go 5, 5, 5, 5 seems to spread the unhappiness as evenly as possible, yet give us some teeth with the ordinance and perhaps dissuade some of the employees from abusing the parking. So anyway, I would, if there is a motion to change what we had previously approved, I will oppose it, and I'd prefer to stick with what we originally had. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Bruno?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Commander Meduzia, I don't know how our bookkeeping is done. Is it just, is it the software that makes it easier to reset the counter at the beginning of each year?
I believe so. He's the only one that has access, the CSOs only have access to it. So if the officers were doing overtime parking on the scale, they'd have to call them over to access the system to see where they fit in the fee structure.
Because I always thought during this discussion it seemed, I don't know, too lenient to just reset the clock, you know, on January 1st, because then Tom's over there parking again. But if it's a software thing, I'm not going to belabor it, so thank you.
Alderman Burghardt?
Commander, do we have stats on, and you might have already presented this to us, about people, how many people get 1 ticket, 2 ticket, 3 ticket? Did we already talk about this? That, I mean,
Forgive me as I go through my pile here.
are the majority of our tickets, are they to constant repeat offenders, or are they people that are coming through and shopping and getting 1 here and?
So for an 18-month period, in the first quarter of 2015, we had 94 warnings and 185 tickets. Second quarter, 245 warnings, 408 tickets. Third quarter, 343 warnings, 647 tickets. Fourth quarter, 179 warnings, 347 tickets. And then the first quarter of 2016 was 339 warnings, 473 tickets.
But we really don't have that broken down on how many the average people getting tickets get.
No, I don't.
So.
I know that as recently as a month ago, we only had 1 person in the 16 and above pay structure.
Thank you. I like Alderman Simonian's proposal because I like that it's a compromise with what we came up with last week and what the business community worked very hard with Commander Meduzia to come up with. And I think that extra warning gives us, you know, a little bit more cushion again to the shoppers who overstay, and perhaps tells them we're really serious this time. Second one, I don't know. I could go a couple different ways on this, but I would be in favor of the 1-2 warning, the 3, number, $5, and then kind of going from there, so. Thank you.
Anyone else from the dais?
Point of order?
I have not entertained the actual amendment to the main motion yet, so that's what I was going to clarify with Alderman Simonian, yeah. Jean, do you wish to chime in at all, since you participated in the discussion?
It's a problem that can't be solved, so I think the majority should rule.
Alderman Simonian, do you wish to just restate your, I believe, recommended amendment to the main motion?
Sure. Make a motion to amend the current section 1E to add a second warning. And the third violation is $5. Violations 4 and 5 are $10. And then the rest remain the same, which is violations 6 to 10 is $20, violations 11 to 15 is $25, and violations 16 and above are $40. The remainder of the ordinance remains the same with all the different fines.
We'd also need to amend section F just to, the late fees, just to parallel that breakdown. So if you could just include that in your motion.
Okay.
Related late fees to be so amended as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
The amendment to the main motion has been offered. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Alderman Burkhart. Additional discussion on the amendment only? Vote. Yes.
So 2 warnings, and then the third is 5 or 10?
5, and then 4 and 5 will be 10, and then the rest will follow as 6 to 10 will be 20, 11 to 15 will be $25, and 16 and above will be $40. And then section F will correspond accordingly for the fines.
Commander, any additional comments?
No, sir.
He's a smart man.
On the amendment, Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Do we have a second on that amendment?
Yes, we do.
Oh, that's right.
Burkhart, yep.
Tara Burkhardt,
Aye.
Don Cummings,
Aye.
Craig Maladra,
Aye.
Richard Marks,
Nay.
Jim Radecki,
Nay.
Mary Sino,
Nay.
Tom Simonian,
Aye.
Ron Singer,
Nay.
Mike Bruno.
Sure, I have to break the tie. Aye.
That was on the amendment, folks.
But we have half of, even on the amendment, we have half of the aldermen voting for the proposition, so the mayor would vote.
I will vote aye. On the main motion as amended, questions or comments? Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Tara Burkhardt,
Aye.
Don Cummings.
Aye.
Craig Maladra,
Aye.
Richard Marks.
Aye.
Jim Radecki. Mary Sino,
Aye.
Tom Simonian,
Aye.
Ron Singer,
Aye.
Mike Bruno.
Aye.
Motion passes, folks. New business. Any new business from anyone from the dais? Thank you. Alderman Bruno?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to offer well wishes to our hardworking chamber at the outset of the craziness that is about to begin. Actually, it's already started, but look forward to it as every year, and good luck.
Anyone else? Anyone from the audience? A motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is in order. Alderman Simonian makes the motion. Second by Alderman Sino. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.